chapter 4. I guess we get done with chapter 3 on our financial statements and record keeping. So chapter 4 is into two parts because it has more to do with the analysis of the 3 financial statements that we discussed earlier on. So that has a lot of information, but basically what we'll be doing in this chapter is to understand the best way to analyze any financial reports that we come across with, and also understand some few budgeting planning understanding of whatever we have learned in chapter 3. So as we learned in chapter report, and so the question is, why are this important to us as a people? For us to record or track our events and be able to process whatever activities that help us to make the right decision. Because when we know what we did in every quarter, it helps us to be able to process or to predict into what will happen or might happen in the future. That is a big thing that businesses or managers. So in doing this, we are able to equally examine the health of every business or the business in which you find yourself as a manager. What we mean by the health of the business is to be able to assess if this business is really making profit. Every business that is established must make profit. If your business is located in an industry, a particular industry that is not making profit, then automatically you will be kicked out of that particular business. And if you are the manager in charge of that particular business, then you are likely to lose your job. So profitability in every business is very key. And because of that, we looked at it from the perspective of the health of that particular business. So this section, whatever we are about doing with respect to this analysis, help us to be able to compare our performance on the market. It helps us to be able to compare your business and other businesses, what other businesses are doing, and how best you'll be able to catch up with what other businesses are doing. So within the same industry, you are able to tell yourself in the midst of other students in the class. It is only through your grades or other presentations and period. And it's all about trying to find out how you are progressing in your academic life. Equally, businesses are being assessed. And they are assessed because those who push in money into that running that particular business wants to find out if the money they have pushed or given to that particular business, whether it is loan or that money being offered in the form of stock or any other means, if that money is really being utilized for the purpose for which it has been given. So again, your measure is profit, and you are measuring profit based on other work activities in that particular business. That is why you are looking or dissecting the various financial statements that we discussed earlier on. What are the financial statements that we discussed in chapter 3? What are the financial statements that we discussed in chapter 3? Hello? What are the financial statements that we discussed in chapter 3? Wow.
Is one of I don't know if this is a statement, but would it be return earnings?
Return earnings. What are the
Uh,
major? We
oh,
discussed
never.
3 financial statements in an annual report under chapter 3.
Uh,
So what do you mean by return earnings?
was one of those the balance sheet showing all the
The
receipts?
balance sheet. Yes. So the balance sheet is showing what?
All the receipts of that year, like the outgoing and ingoing.
The outgoing and the ingoing would not be your balance sheet specifically. I don't know what you mean by your outgoing and ingoing. Are you talking in terms of cash? Or you are talking in terms of your activities that are being rendered in the business? If you are talking in terms of cash money that is coming in and going out, then you are talking about the cash inflows. So I don't want you to be confused with whatever you are telling me. That's why I'm asking you that question. But if you mention balance sheet, you are correct on that. Any other? Yes, Ingram?
Income statement.
The income statement. So we talked about the balance sheet. We talked about the income statement. And what else did we talk about? I have 34 students in this class. What else did we talk about? Yes, Smith?
Is it cash flow?
The cash flow. So we discussed the balance sheet. We discussed the income statement or profit and loss statement. And we talked about the cash flows. And what are the cash flows? What are the 2 things under the cash flows? Wow. Anyways. Yes, Clem?
I know one be like your earnings, like profit, and then the other one would be like loss, but that's not how you say it though. I don't know the name for it.
You said one would be what?
One would be like your earnings, like your retained earnings, and then the other one would be it would be like a loss, like the I can't think of the name, the other name for loss. It's not because it's not necessarily a
You
loss.
have to get the names. You have to get the names because there's a lot of things going on. So if you don't get, yes, Kennedy.
Did you ask our examples of cash inflow?
No, I'm talking about the major things in cash flows. I'm not talking about inflows. I said cash flows. What are the 2 things in cash flows?
You have sales, like the sales of your product. I think that's one of like the inflows, or just flow in general, I guess.
And what else? Wow, you know your PowerPoint is on Blackboard, right? Let me even use this opportunity to check the rule because it seems like people are not even. Yes, Smith. Smith, is your hand raised?
Yeah, would the second one be the outflow?
So we are talking about the inflow and the outflow. I don't want you to confuse by telling me when I said I'm looking out for cash flow, then you just tell me inflow, or you are using the inflow or outflow as a major thing. The major topic is the cash flow. Under the cash flow, you have inflows and outflows. And within these inflows and outflows, you have 3 diverse sections. Please read your notes. This thing we have already discussed in class. Other than that, when I start giving you practical work, it will be difficult. So review your notes. So anyway, we talked about these 3 statements, financial statements in an annual report. And based on that, we want to look deeper into understanding how best we'll be able to assess or analyze these financial statements. Under chapter 4, the textbook gives us the opportunity to analyze these statements, these 3 statements, from 2 diverse perspectives. We are looking at the 3 C's and we are using the ratio analysis. So we will first discuss the 3 C's, and then we will first discuss ratio analysis. If I call your name and I don't hear from you, you are not in this class. I want everybody to participate in this class. Cody.
Yes.
Moses. Okay, Bond.
Mara Bond is here.
Olivia. Bossman. Maria. Davis Wilson. Zoe.
Here.
Ellison. Clem.
I'm sorry, did you call Sydney Bozeman?
Bossman. Is it Bossy or Bossman?
It's Bozeman.
Bossman, okay. You have to be attentive.
You just call my name. I'm here.
Clem. Yeah, I marked you
Yes,
already.
ma'am. I'm here.
Gamble. Holly. Gilbert. Asia.
Here.
Glass. Harrison. Who said here? Okay.
Did you say
Harrison?
Asia?
Yes, I did.
Okay, that was me.
Okay. Harrison. Gonzalez Destiny.
Here.
Hall.
Here.
Hamid. Hatton. Destin. Heckman.
I'm here.
Hillscott.
I'm here.
Shanae. Is it
Excuse me?
Hose?
Here.
Hudson.
Hello?
Hudson Colby.
Did you say
Hello.
Did you say Saxton?
Oh, no. No. I'm not here with you.
Oh,
Hudson. That's Colby. Colby. Anissa. I think I got an excuse from her.
Here.
Anissa, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Tia. Jeffries. Jones.
Here.
Who said here? Is it Jones?
Yes, Jones, I'm here.
Okay. Kennedy, I think I heard your voice already. Antonio. Kiara. Kid.
Here.
Gabriela.
Here.
Did I hear Elizabeth's voice already?
Did you?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Elizabeth.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay. Mills, Amanda. More Daniel. Murphy. Nicole.
I'm here.
Nicole? Did I hear Nicole's voice?
Yes, it's Nicole.
Okay. Nima? Primos? How do you pronounce your last name? Primos?
Primos, yeah.
Primos, okay. Royster? Maxwell? 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 Smith? Is it Destiny or Destine? Smith?
Destin, yes, I'm here, ma'am.
Okay. Smith? Kiara?
I'm here.
All right. Corey Smith?
I'm here.
I heard your voice already. Smith Takia? Smith Takia? Spears? Chancellor? Spring?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
All right. Taylor? Trice? Is Taylor here?
Here.
I'm here.
Okay. All right. Trice?
Here.
Okay. Trips? Walton?
I'm here.
All right. Woods? Perry Woods?
Here. I'm here.
Okay. Worthy George Worthy. All right. So if you are here and I call your name asking questions, I expect you to answer those questions.
Miss Ba?
Yes.
My name is Destin. I heard you call my name, and I was making
Your
sure.
name is what? Your name is what?
Destin Hatton, and my mic wasn't working. I was just making sure that you got me for attendance for today.
Yeah, I called your name. I didn't hear your voice, so I marked you wrong. Marked you absent.
Yes, my phone has been tripping all day. I'm sorry about that.
All right.
Thank you
This
so much.
Destiny what?
Destin Hatton.
Carlton, yeah. I remember I mentioned your name.
Miss Ba, Olivia Bowles is here
Yes.
as well. I just didn't want to interrupt you during roll.
Olivia, turn on your mic and make sure I can hear from you. I will check the roll again before we leave. That's
Yes,
what I'll
ma'am.
do now. Anyway, so we're talking about financial statements. Yes. Somebody else is talking. See, if you want to be staying on virtual, you must ensure that your technology and everything is working perfectly. Because as an instructor, I'm expected to interact with you, to engage with you. That is how best you'll be able to learn. So if your mic is not working, please, as a virtual student, you already know what you are required of doing, your responsibility and your role. So make sure your things are working for your good. You cannot always be saying your mic is not working. Work on your things. If they are not working, please make sure they work, because it is part of your requirement. Go and read your university handbook. If you are here as a virtual student, we must ensure that everything, every gadget you need to be able to operate virtually is in order. So we are talking about financial analysis, and our focus is on the financial statements. Again, I'm repeating, we will be discussing two distinct ways of analyzing our financial statement. The first one is the 3 C's. We are using this 3C as a tool to measure financial statement. The second tool is your ratio. We say it is what? Ratio analysis. So we are using ratios as a tool in analyzing what? Our financial statements. And remember, we have discussed 3 different financial statements. So again, under the 3 C's, there are 3 distinct things that we'll be discussing here. That has to do with comparative analysis, change analysis, and common size analysis. Comparative analysis, change analysis, and common size analysis. Each and every one of these tools helps us to be able to analyze our financial report. The first one, which is comparative, is just coming from the word comparing. So we are comparing your current items as against your past items on your financial statement. So we are looking at 2 years. You have a financial statement last year. You have a financial statement this year. You have itemized things on your each financial statement. Let's use the income statement or profit and loss statement or the balance sheet. There are items on this financial statements. So you are just comparing your activities in terms of monetary activities, and you have quantified these activities money-wise. So it has its monetary value for every item. So you are comparing these monetary values of last year's statement to that of this year's statement. When you talk about the change analysis, we are looking at changes in the financial statement over time. So you are trying to assess the financial statement of 2022 with that of 2021. But you are looking at it from the difference perspective. What is the difference in our results when it comes to one item on the financial statement last year as compared to that of this year? Then we move on to talk about the common size analysis. The common size analysis helps us to be able to select each individual item on the either the balance sheet or any of the financial statement, and you are calculating the difference in percentages. You are looking at the difference from last year's financial statement or 2 years ago's financial statement against last year's financial statement, but your calculation is based on the percentage. So now we can be able to understand each and every step. Mr. Destin, please ensure that you turn off your mic or something. There's a sound coming from you. So we will begin looking at the various 3 C's that I've just mentioned. And again, remember I said that with the first one, which is the comparative analysis, you are comparing 2 years of your statements. So let's assume you have a financial statement in 2020, you have a financial statement in 2021. So you are picking one of this financial statement, let's say the balance sheet 2020 and 2021, all coming from your business activities. And you are putting them side by side and you are trying to compare. What did we do last year? How much did we benefit from every activity that we did last year? How come on this particular financial statement, last 2 years, how come we did not do well? What is the reason behind we not doing well in that particular angle? It is only when you compare that you'll be able to tell. So this comparing help you to be able to evaluate and understand what is happening in your particular business. Remember, the end thereof is to assess whether you are making profit or not. So what exactly is preventing us from not making profit in a particular angle? Or what helped us to be able to do better this year? You are doing this because you want to ensure that if you are not doing well, then you look into it and assess it and analyze it and ensure that you know the areas which are not helping the business or in which the business is not doing well. And if the business is doing well, we know exactly where the benefit is coming from. And we know we have to channel more energy or effort into that area or more effort into other areas that are not equally doing well. Does it make sense? So now on a comparative analysis base, you have 2 years of a balance sheet. All items on this list has been quantified. We have values placed by them. So you pick two balance sheets, but you are picking two balance sheets based on two different years, depending on what you as a manager wants to analyze. Maybe you are going for a presentation to discuss your financial report, and you want to find out how best will I be able to present our performance to your audience. What will you be able to do? What you can do is to be able to look at your statements and find out exactly where did you do well. Why didn't you do well in some particular angle? It could be that the problem is not coming from the business. It could be that there might be other challenges that the business faced. But until you are able to really look at it and assess it and analyze it carefully, you might never tell, because there are a lot of activities that are going on every day in the business. So when we look at the year 2000, for instance, this example is coming from the textbook. You look at this year 2000 as compared to 1999. And we are picking items on the balance sheet, one after each other. So we have, under the current asset, we have cash and equivalents. And we have the values for how do you call it? 2000, which is 267. And we have the value for 1999, which is 280. Again, what we are trying to do over here is to compare the values. We want to see where are we doing well and where are we not doing well. But again, in comparing this way, you can be able to tell and be able to see that, okay, under total asset, our total asset in 2000 was 3,978. However, total asset in 1999 was 2,298. On face value, just using the comparative analysis, you can draw a conclusion that you did better in 2000 than 1999. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. However, the question you have to ask yourself is, where did we do well? And what led into we doing well in that angle? So now you want to look at every item and be able to tell where exactly is a huge amount of difference coming from. And when you look at item by item, you might end up even finding out that maybe you didn't even do that well, because maybe you even put in more money into the business in 2000 as compared to 1999. When you invest more money into a business, you are likely to have your assets doubling up. But is that showing that you did well at the end of the day? It will be difficult for you to be able to look at that from this perspective only by comparing. However, the comparing gives you a first idea of exactly what's happening in the business, or maybe the areas in which you can be even able to tell that, okay, in this particular area, there was a huge difference between what we did in last year comparatively to the previous year. For instance, on the face value, when we look at items such as inventory, which is the third item, in 2000, we had 1,195. However, in 1999, our inventory at the end of the year was what? What was the figure? What's the figure?
809.
Pardon me?
809.
809. So again, we can draw a conclusion saying that, okay, we had a lot of inventory in the year 2000 at the end of the year as compared to 1999. Sometimes, as I discussed with you earlier on, keeping too much inventory might not be a good result for the business. However, the business can make some good deals when they have inventory, And all of a sudden, that particular inventory is hot cake on the market. So therefore, the business will be able to reap some benefit from it. Other than that, if you have more inventory in your stock, it presupposes that you are holding your money, capital in that particular inventory. So that leads us to the next step in trying to find out exactly how can we be able to interpret our or compare our financial statement with respect to the balance sheet. Again, this is an example with they are comparing, comparative analysis using your income statement. So again, it is just the same thing that you're doing. You are comparing the monetary terms of the items on your income statement. When you go home, these are things you have to look into. So your next step on the 3 C's after comparing is change analysis. What does this change analysis do? It helps us to be able to determine the change in the financial statement. So over here, we are trying to look at the difference between one particular statement and the other. And I'm talking about one particular statement, not with respect to the 3 different ones, but one particular with respect to, if it is balance sheet, we want to calculate the difference between what we experienced last year as compared to the previous year. Again, we are trying to look deeper into analyzing the report. So example that we can have from that perspective when we do this change analysis is what you are seeing over here. Remember that our focus here is on 2 years, 2000 and 1999. Based on whatever information as a manager you need, you will determine which year of the balance sheet or the income statement you want to use. But for this example, we are just using those 2 years. You can decide to even do a 3 years comparative analysis to look at exactly what is the trend or what is going on in your business. So when we look at the change, remember that we started our thing from comparative analysis. And here we are. In 2000, for cash and equivalent, we have 267. And in 1999, we have 280. So when you subtract both, each and every one of us have a calculator. You have calculators on your phones. When you subtract, what do you get? Hello, am I here with people?
The sound went out.
Pardon me?
Like
the sound went out. I was talking about cash and equivalent. And we are looking at change analysis. So we're doing a bit of subtraction here. I'm saying that when you look at cash and equivalent, you have 2000, the year 2000. What we have in monetary terms is 267, which is different from 1999, which is 280. And I'm asking, what is the difference?
$13.
What?
$13 difference.
$13. So have that in mind. Now let's move on to the next item. Accounts receivable. 2000, we have 1,108. In 1999, we have 820. What is the difference? Yes, Bond?
288.
Pardon me?
288.
288. So this is the first person who said the 13. Who gave the example on 13? I see Bond, and who else?
Anissa.
Anissa, you said the 13, right?
Yes.
So we see the difference on change analysis. We are subtracting. So you see your first cash and equivalent, you have the 13 being recorded for you. But when you look at the top, where you have the 2000, the year 2000 and the year 1999, there is something in parentheses. You have what? Increase and what? Decrease. So the 13 you have over here for 1999 was what? A decrease to the business. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
From there on, every value that we had in the year 2000 represented what? An increase. So when you go home, look at the values, you can understand it's just a subtraction that is being made. So if we want, at the end of the day, if we want to really look at the analysis carefully, we will be looking at these two values over here, which has to do with cash and equivalent, which brought the decrease. And we can equally look at the other items at the base, which are equally what? Decrease to the business. Now, why this is important to us is that at the end of the day, we want to find out what did we do that led to a decrease in cash and what? Equivalents. You want to know. Until you make this analysis with your eye, you might not be able to determine. But the moment you move a step further into change analysis, you get to understand exactly what is happening within the business. You might be seeing this figure as a small figure, $13. But remember, this figure has been netted. So it could be that it is 13 billion or something like that. And that is a huge money to the business. So the business will want to find out, what did we do that led to what? This what? Decrease in cash and what? Equivalents. Does it make sense to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Perry Woods, do you understand what we are discussing? Perry Woods.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So the third step, remember we started from comparative analysis. We went on to talk about change analysis where we are subtracting. And then we move on to the third step, which is the common size analysis. In this common size analysis, we are converting all balance sheets and income statement dollars amount into a percentage of a common base. The common base that we are referring over here has to do with your total sales at the end of the day. Remember, when you pick anything like the balance sheet, for instance, you have total what? Assets. You have your current assets, you have your non-current asset, then under it you have what? Total asset. So if you are calculating percentage per each item, you are picking one item by one item on the balance sheet and calculating what? The percentage using the what? The total what? Asset. The value of the total asset. So again, you divide each entry in the balance sheet by your total asset. And you do the same thing if you want to look at what is happening in your business, analyze what is happening in your business with respect to what? The income statement as well. But on the income statement, we do not use total asset. On the income statement, what we use is the net what? Sales. Your overall total on the income statement is your net sales. Your overall total on the balance sheet is your total what? Asset. So that is the base. That is a common base that you are using for your what? Calculation in percentage. Does it make sense? Does it make sense?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So now let's look at the example. Again, we are just using the values that we have last year and then this year, or 1999 and the year what? 2000. So we see 1999, we have cash and equivalent, which is 280. These are the same values that we started using from the beginning. We have not changed the values so that we can have consistency and understand what is happening. 1999, we have what? 280 cash and what? Equivalent. And 2000, we have 260 what? 7. As I said earlier on, you are picking each item, the value of each item, and you are dividing it. If it is the balance sheet, what are you using? What is your common base? What is the common base if you are using the balance sheet? Hello, are people here? Hello?
Is it the money that they start off with?
Which money?
I don't know.
Yes, bond?
Total assets?
Total asset. I said this earlier on. Please pay attention in the class. Your common base on the balance sheet is your total asset. I said it earlier on. So you are picking every item and you are divided and using the common base on the balance sheet, which is your total what? Asset. On your income statement, what will be your common base? Yes, Barrett.
It would be the net sales.
It will be the net sales. Thank you. It will be the net sales. So now if we pick something like accounts receivable, we all have computers or phones or whatever. You have something you can use in calculating. If you pick something like account receivable, you have 1,108 for the year 2000, and then you have 820, for what? 1999. What is our total asset for 1999? Perry Woods, what's the total asset? Perry Woods, yes, Hill, I'll come to you. Perry Woods, what is the total asset?
Of which year?
For 1999.
$2,298.
2000, thank you, $2,298. And that of 2000 is what?
$100.
Who said 100?
Cheyenne.
We are looking at the total asset. We are not looking at it on percentage wise. We are looking at it from the asset column.
Oh, 3,978.
3,000, yeah, 3,000. So we have the 3,000. So now should we want to calculate anything that has to do with inventory, how are you going to calculate that? If you are using common size, you are making common size analysis, and you have an item, inventory, how are you going to calculate the common size? Yes, who hasn't, both that have not even spoken in this class today. Whose hand was up? Shana.
Yes.
Yes. So if we want to calculate inventory and we are on common size, how are you going to calculate that? Give me the values.
I'm sorry, can you repeat? The audio is going in and out.
Yeah, if we are going to calculate inventory, okay, we want to look at the values on inventory, and our focus in our analysis is on common size. Which values are you going to use?
I'm sorry, I'm not understanding the question.
Why are you not understanding the question? I have just told you what the question is. It's simple English. You are calculating common size. You want to analyze your statement, your financial statement, and this is typical balance sheet. But you want to use common size in analyzing that financial statement. On the column or the row where you have inventory, What are the values that you are going to use in calculating your common size? This is a straightforward question. Yes, Perry Woods.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So inventory, what values are you going to use in calculating common size? Yes, Cody.
Would you do the amount for the inventory divided by the total assets amount?
The amount for the inventory. So let's use the year 1999. Which values are you going to use?
809.
809,
divided by the 2,298.
2298, and then you multiply it by what?
100.
100, because you are just calculating the percentage. Can somebody do that and give us the value? Yes, Bond.
I got 35%.
You had what?
35%.
35?
Yeah. 809 over 2298 times 100, right?
209, sorry, 809
809
divided by 2298
times 100 to get the percentage. I got
Really?
35.
Yes, I got 35 as well.
You also had 35?
Yes. Because it's
Did I say
0.35, but then
inventory?
you multiply
So we
it.
have 1, 2, 3, right? 1, 2, 3 inventory.